Hi, this is Carlos Cousins, and the following ACT Science Conflicting Viewpoints question is asking us to take into account new information and to assess it in light of the passage as a whole. Specifically here, we're looking at Theory 2. So let's go ahead and remember real quick what Theory 2's assertions are that we're supposed to take for granted. Genetically modified foods are not a viable, healthy option for consumers because of a tendency toward environmental hazards and human health risks. So the issues here are going to be environmental hazards and human health risks with genetically modified foods. Okay, so based on this assumption and the information provided, which of the following is most likely to occur when a herbicide-resistant gene is inserted into a plant used for food? Let's go ahead and find the first mention here of a herbicide-resistant gene, not just any genetically modified food. So if we read on here, the first example is going to go ahead and happen around here. We say, in addition, although creating herbicide-tolerant plants is beneficial to crops, the problem lies in discrimination. Through pollination, the crops crossbreed with other nearby plants, creating herbicide-tolerant weeds. And the weed killers that used to be effective against those encroaching weeds are therefore no longer effective, causing GM weeds to inhibit food productions. So the problem here is weed killers then don't work on the weeds, which reduce the amount of food produced. So let's go ahead and figure out which is the best answer from these answer choices. The plant will become herbicide resistant, will crossbreed with a nearby weed, and thus create a weed resistant to herbicides. It's precisely what we see here when we talk about creating herbicide-tolerant plants. This looks like a really good one. Let's consider the others. The plant will become herbicide resistant, which will cause the weeds nearby to be killed off by the herbicides and the plant used for food to thrive. Well, no, we're saying that the weed will survive the use of weed killers, and then the plants used for food are going to be, the production of those is going to be inhibited, which means there will be fewer of them. To inhibit means to prevent. So we can go ahead and get rid of that. The plant will become herbicide resistant, will breed with other plants used for food, spreading the herbicide resistant to other plant life. Well, this looks good, though if it were to spread to only other plants used for food, that wouldn't be a problem, because that would mean a greater crop yield for all food-bearing plants, and that would be good. The problem here is that it would also spread to plants not used for food, which would inhibit here food production. So that's why this is bad. So we can get rid of that one as well. And then the last one says, the plant will become herbicide resistant, creating a new allergen that will cause allergic reactions in susceptible individuals. We'll do talk about this here later on, about just introducing foreign genes in general to any plants. But when we're talking about here this herbicide-tolerant plants, these herbicide-tolerant plants, that's not what we're talking about just yet. So the more specific and best answer choice here is answer choice A. I hope that helped with this problem, and happy prepping.